So the panelists, here we have Sharon Schotte, she's commercial manager at RPS. We have here Imme van Leij, the strategic consultant in spatial planning for Arcadis. And Valerie Schumacher, the consultant in workplace strategy for Cushman Wakefield. So I have a couple of questions that I'll be asking them, but we're a small round, so if everybody wants to ask something or add something, please feel free to do so, or if you have a question, we can make it a bit interactive. So we can start maybe with Valerie. What's the biggest thing that has helped you get where you are in your career, and what advice would you give to someone looking to take a similar path?
I think for me, just being really curious, so going out there, and I think before starting my professional career, I had this idea of just speaking with everyone, and what I did is I went on LinkedIn and I looked at all these women in positions that I thought would be really interesting to fulfill, even one day or maybe as my next step. And I just shoot them a message. I was like, hey, I saw you were doing this, and I think that's great, can we maybe have a coffee? And I think, yeah, you'd be surprised how open people are to have that coffee with you, to have that conversation. And yeah, those chats really helped me to think about what is it that I want out of a job and a career. So yeah, just be curious, be open, connect with people. I think that was for me really significant.
Yeah, sounds like a very good idea. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, the biggest thing, I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna say three things. First thing, first thing I think it's gonna sound a bit cheesy, but it's hard work. I think in the first couple of years of my career, I worked hard. Somebody gave me a stick and I ran for it. And then after that, it changed to smart work. So doing what you're supposed to do, thinking more about what do I need to do to get where I want to be. And then I think the biggest thing is just to say what you want to do. So set your own goals, and then just also say to the people around you, I want to do this, I want to get to this point. Because if you don't say it, nobody will know what you want, and then they can't act on it. So that's the biggest thing.
Would you like to add something?
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I absolutely agree with what you said. For me as well, the biggest thing that has helped me navigating a large organization such as Arcadis is to listen to my gut feeling more than I would generally do. I'm not sure if you feel the same, but I generally tend to overthink many things, thinking about all the steps I need to take to get somewhere, to reach my goals. Maybe it's female, I don't know. But when I started in the organization, there was so much to do, so many people to meet. So I said to myself, listen to your gut, because that's the best compass you'll have. So if it felt right, a connection or relationship or a task I was doing, then I would just go for it. And I think that has helped me a lot with getting to where I am at this moment, because it's something which I did not imagine doing when I started, but it's something that really helped me to get there, my gut.
And what is the biggest risk that you have taken in your career?
Yeah, as I said to some girls here already, I do not have a technical background. As you might know, Arcadis is an engineering and consultancy company, specifically related to the physical environment, our living environment. I have a background in international relations and art history, but I wanted to do something with consultancy, but consultancy with which can make an impact on improving the quality of life. That's really important for me. And that's why I came into contact with this organization. But sometimes I have to explain myself to my colleagues. Okay, you studied art history. You don't have a technical background. How? Why? What are you doing here? So that's sometimes scary. But this is a risk, and I don't know where my path is leading me. But it's something that really intrigues me, and so I took a leap. And I think it's a risk, but also an exciting risk, to start somewhere which is totally new world for me.
Yeah, you can learn a lot of new skills.
Yeah. I would love to say I've taken many risks, but I can just say so far I haven't taken many leaps in my career yet. I hope to take some more risks in the future, but for now I'm just trying to figure out what direction I want to go, and I think, yeah, when we get there, hopefully I'll be brave enough to take some risks.
I think the biggest risk I took in my career was last year, September 2022. Before this, I was a consultant, and it was a pretty safe job in my company. And they asked me, do you want to be a commercial manager? And the role wasn't there yet, so I needed to design it myself. And I'm still working on that, and I think that was the biggest risk that I took. Wow.
And who have been some of your biggest supporters during your career?
Ooh, this is gonna sound cheesy, but I think it will be my boyfriend. He's also in real estate. He's an asset manager, and he's always down to brainstorm with me or just answer my questions or just listen. So yeah, my boyfriend, and it's really nice to have like this support system at home.
For me, it has really been my manager. She's just been my biggest cheerleader, which I really appreciate so much. She always encourages me to take these opportunities where I think maybe I'm not ready yet, and she's like, I know you got this, so go for it. And that's just really nice to have that support system. But also, I think all of my colleagues are really supportive, and we try to really support each other. But one in particular, I always call her like my work big sister. She's like ahead of me in like 7 years, and it's just really nice to know that she went through the same path and to really understand like what were some challenges she's experiencing that I might be running into right now. And she just really, is a great partner to spar with and to have conversations with, and a great support system.
With alignment with what you said, it's funny because it's not a man's world, my company, not in the sense that the culture is really lad, what we were talking about. It's not a lad culture, but it is a male culture. There are a lot of engineers, but funnily enough, I gathered all these strong women around me. I don't know how, but I have around 4 strong women around me. They are not my mom, but they feel a bit like my mom in the company. So not a big sister, but a mom. They're slightly older, and they also cheer me, give me the space to grow. They believe in me, and they see something in me which I do not dare to see in myself yet. So in alignment with what you said, that has helped me greatly in my career so far.
Great to hear. I think you already mentioned this a bit, that it is important to have a mentor, but maybe you want to still add something on how important it is to have a mentor? Or Sharon wants to say something?
I think you can do it without a mentor, but I think it's also important, and it's more fun, I think. But to be honest, I don't have like a female mentor because I think 90% of my colleagues are male. So I do have a male mentor, and that's also a good thing because we balance each other out, and we have different qualities. So you can also have like a male mentor, and And how do you get one? Is that I think just keep an open mind. And also ask questions. If you want a mentor, if you think, okay, this is somebody that I can trust, that I can learn something from, keep an open mind. Even if you know the answer, but ask what he or she think about it. And,
and what are some ways that men can be good allies? So what do we need to do to engage and inspire male advocates?
Yeah, how to do that I am not sure, but I can give you an example of the value I experienced of this in male advocate, I think you said. My current boss, he is the one I talk with most about female leadership and inclusivity. I don't know why, but he loves it, the topic. And his statement is not that diversity is important, but inclusivity. because it's not only about being a diverse team, it is about being inclusive, about being heard. So for me as well, of course I'm female in the men's world, but I have a privileged background and was able to study, so in what way am I diverse? I don't know, I sometimes think about that. So it's important for me to have as many different people around me as possible, because different viewpoints, different beings, different personalities, I think are the best asset for the organization to thrive. And he's someone that who challenges me on this. And when I got the invitation for this panel, I was quite scared, because I don't have a background in real estate, to be honest. I'm a consultant in spatial planning. But he said, no, women should do this. Take it to you try. So it was great. So yeah, he's great, and I hope that people will have the same experience finding the same kind of male advocate. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is maybe a tricky question, but also relevant for these times, because what we see more and more is burnouts. How do we avoid that? Do you have any good tips or advices?
Difficult one, but I think obviously burnout, like we are all different type of people, so I think some people are more prone to get a burnout than others. It just depends on some people experience stress in a different way. We all experience stress in a different way, and we all have different coping mechanisms, I would say. What works for one person doesn't always work for another. But what I really try to consciously do is think about both my private and my work life, and think about, okay, so what are the things that are giving me energy, and what are some of the things that are depleting my energy, and really consciously thinking about making choices in prioritizing stuff, but also having really open conversations with my manager around workload. And I think in consultancy it's always difficult, I would say. There's periods where we have very, very busy times, and sometimes we have periods where it's more quiet. And I think it's taking back some of the time where you worked a lot in those high peaks, to just relax and make sure that you are okay and you are coping.
Yeah, I think when I started in real estate, I was stressed a lot. So I've been to a point where I thought, okay, this is going to end well. And then I had a conversation with myself, like, okay, what do I need to do? I just said yes to everything, because I thought I didn't want to disappoint anybody. And so I just, what's my job? What do I need to do? And what's good for the company, but also what's good for myself? So set boundaries. I think that's a really important thing. And don't say yes because to everything. Just say yes to what you want and what you think is part of your job. And also just sometimes just stand still and look around, like, okay, what am I doing and why am I doing this? I think that's the most important thing to avoid a burnout.
Yeah, sure. Well, I experienced the same things as you. I think for us, also starting your career, you want to do everything right, so that's an extra challenge. But for me, I experienced it when traveling on the train to my office. I had the urge to already check my emails or start my to-do, start my day, but it gave me extra stress. Was it working time or not? But now I started reading a book on the train to start my day and to decompress. I also try to avoid my phone and social media just to relax after work, and then start a new phase in the evening doing fun things with friends, or maybe doing something, not too much, to keep the work-life balance. So I really try to set boundaries on when do I start my working day and when is private time by reading a book. I can, I'm favorite, recommend, yes.
No, yeah, it sounds like great advice, and I think it's something that a lot of people cope with, just not being able to turn off completely and always be busy and receiving messages and replying, so that's a good one. What's the best work-related advice that you've ever received?
I think for me, it's a quote, and I think many of you probably already know it, and it's, if you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I think when I started working, I just finished my master's, I was 22 years old, I was starting at Cushman, and my manager was like, yeah, let me take you to this, and I'll put you in this room in this conversation, and I was like, you want to put me in this room, in this conversation with these people? Are you sure? Am I capable? Am I smart enough? And I think it's just changing that mindset that, yeah, actually, if you are the smartest in the room, you're in the room. You should surround yourself with people that inspire you, that are smarter than you, that have something to add to you. And I think that for me, yeah, it's really something that really helped me change that mindset to not think, do I add value, but like, how can I learn from someone else?
Yeah, I think the best advice that I got so far is don't take things too personal and just run your own course. Because I think a lot of what people say we take personal, but I don't think a lot of people mean it personal. They mostly think about themselves, about what they want to gain. So, for example, I've been called a bitch in my company and in my career. I've been called a witch, even a witch. So, and mostly by men. And I think I should have I can be angry about it, or I can be mad about it, but I thought, yeah, I'm good at what I do, so I don't care what you say. If you say something constructive, if you give me constructive feedback, I will listen and I will do something about it. But if you just call me names, I'm just brush it off. Yeah, don't take things too personal. I think where women are good to, how do you say it? We do that a lot, take things personal. So.
Yeah, usually the other person just had a bad day, probably.
Or they just are intimidated by a woman.
I think the best advice that I've received is to gather people around you who see your potential and allow you to grow. Maybe it's cheesy, but I feel that I have gathered around people who want to see my development in the company instead of people who want to keep me down because they feel threatened or they think hierarchy is important, for example. So that's really important, that people allow you to take them under their wing and move along with you. And if you feel that's not happening anymore, go to a different place because it's your life and your own course. So it's okay to go for yourself. Yeah.
Great. Okay. These were the questions, but if someone from the audience either would like to add something, maybe a best practice to share or an advice that you got from someone that you think that others can benefit from as well, please participate. And otherwise,
I have a question. I just said here at the table, if I would see an event, men in real estate, I would be first there. I would be in the first row. I would love to hear what they have to tell us. There is no one, there's no man. Where is your manager who is supporting you so much? Was it, did you talk about it, if he would join or not? Did you want him not to join? Or,
No, I did ask him in a positive way. So I did say, it's okay if you're not here. Maybe it's also because he's much older and I don't want to pressure him. I don't know, insecurity maybe. But I did ask him and I did point out that I would be here. And I think he would have loved it. But also, in terms of practicalities, he lives in Arnhem and he's been here 2 days already. So maybe he's tired.
Fair enough. But
yeah. But I get your point. I get your point. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm relatively new to the Netherlands, and it's just my observation in general, and also just an interest. There's a change that's going on. You can't tell from my accent in Australia, in that the property industry is having a greater connection and conversation with the government about trying to fix. They're currently sitting at 30% pay gap, according to the PCA. one of the mechanisms they're using is that they're doing things like making sure that RPF and egg freezing is all completely accessible in order to change. And this isn't just the real estate industry, this is for everybody. It is now almost free, right? There are things that are happening that are trying to change these gaps. Is the Netherlands starting to make these changes? Is there something more? Because like, quotas obviously aren't effective in crashing the top, you know? I work at JLL, I've worked there since I was 20. The top is still all men. If we push that, what other mechanisms, does anyone know of any mechanisms that are actually in place to make these changes and to make it effective? I'm just curious.
Well, the pregnancy leave for fathership leave for men, it's been much more. It used to be 2 days or 5 days, and now I think it's 6 weeks or 3 months.
I think it's actually 9 weeks.
Well, it used to be 2 days, so that's
yeah, it should be 6 months, right? So it's like the collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Obviously needs to shift. Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but
no, I don't.
Like in the UK, it's 6 months. We should be advocating for this.
And I think now a lot of companies themselves have quota for the higher management.
Yeah.
They set these quotas themselves. It's not a government, I think.
Yes.
No, not money do that.
Yeah. Okay. Just wondering.
I think it's getting there, but it's going to be slow, I think, as well. It's not getting there in a year or so. So I think this is even, yeah, it's for women. But I think maybe 10 years ago we didn't have this as well. And so I think we're getting there, but it's going to be slow.
Maybe I can add something because I'm a little bit older than most of you. And it surprises me because when I started working, we didn't have anything, we didn't have ladies' breakfast. I still work in an environment male dominated, so I hardly meet women, so I really like this kind of stuff. So don't meet men because the vibe of just having women around is, totally different than when there are men in the room. What I heard right now is that men they feel that they are discriminated because, this quota to get more ladies, they feel that they don't ask them any longer, so fine with you saying to us all the time. And for all the Dutch ladies in the room, because I don't think that the book is already translated in another language, read the omwenteling, which describes where we come from, where we still have to fight for rights, and because the fact that I'm a lady in a male-dominated world, I just sometimes do some experience, so challenges for myself. I stay in the room, mainly men over there, and then I say, okay, that I'm not going to approach them. Happens if someone's going to approach me, and then I experience I have to do so much more effort to get to network because they don't come to me. And I asked a couple of maybe 2 months ago, a young lady, and I asked her if she had the same experience. So it's not my age, it's not my because looking a little bit bossy and say not kind enough, and it's just, I don't know, the fact is that people easily connect with the same kind of people, then go to another gender. Now it's not gender related, it's just because you are not the same, and it's apparently different. So what I do right now is if I have a conversation with men, I just tell them that they should notice that there are differences and that they are aware that they acting like that, because they're just not aware that they act different leaders. You should just change it. So that's what I want to bring today.
I do have a question, because it already has been mentioned, the quotum. What do we think about that? How do you think about it?
About the quotum?
Yes. To get more women at the table.
Well, I think it's needed because it's impossible. Not only it's in all industries the same. It's just impossible. There's almost no women in the top. And I think it's needed to be able to change, because on one side you could argue, no, but it's not fair because let's say there's, 100 men applying for a position and 2 women, and then to fill the quota and to take the women as well, so you have a 100% entrance chance. But yeah, I think it's still a necessary measurement to make a change and to accept more also for the companies itself. That the new trend is to have a mixed board and a mixed leadership team. And if we don't do it, if we're just like seeing how it goes, and then nothing is going to change. Because we've not had this quota for before, and we see the results. But I do hope that more women will apply ultimately, and that there will be more women who are available maybe for these positions. So they will be go to school, because now of course for the Netherlands there everybody is already for school, but on a global level. And also with the pregnancy leave that we mentioned earlier, if the man would also have a career gap each time the child is born, then it's also more likely that we stay on the same level, because I think that's also a huge problem, that when women are out for quite a while, it is harder to accelerate. But when both are out for a while, then we stay more on the same level.
I would like to add that I agree with you. At first I was against the ratio, because I think everyone deserves an equal opportunity. Now
could you take the microphone? It's really difficult to hear you. Thank you.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
At first I was against, because I think everyone deserves an equal opportunity, but now I'm pro, because it's going too slow. But I agree with you, so I'm pro ratio, but I agree with you that it's not only important to have a diverse population, it's also important to stay there. So inclusiveness is have policies and a culture, nourish a culture which is inclusive. I think that is important, because we have women, there are 2 colleagues here, former colleagues, so we have women on top, but it's difficult to stay there. That's my opinion.
Why do you think it's difficult to stay?
Because I think the dinosaurs, what stays in Vegas, what stays in Vegas, I think it's like, perhaps it's human behavior that we want to keep things as they are. So we find it very difficult, we find change very difficult. So we want to keep it as things are. So I think the dinosaurs, for example, in our company, want to stay dinosaurs and want to, influence people to become dinosaurs as well. But perhaps that's something human. Perhaps. Probably.
I also don't want to go too much into the leadership topic, because there is a panel after this one about it. So, I don't know. Do you have a question?
If you were offered a job and you knew you were offered it because you were a woman, would you take it?
That's a tricky question.
Yes.
Well, maybe it aligns a bit with what we were discussing. My first reaction is to say no. But then, talking about inclusivity and talking about people around you who can help you grow, if potentially the vibe would be as such that they would allow you to grow your potential, and that they would really value your opinion, and that they would really listen to you and would make you comfortable and want to make you stay, then maybe take the chance. That's what I'm thinking now. I'm thinking out loud, but maybe take the chance. Yeah.
I think also something I've experienced. We just have a female CEO at Cushman Wakefield, the Netherlands, and I think one thing with this ratio is that when she got the job and it was announced, there were a lot of some male in the company or outside that were like, well, maybe she just got it, you know, because she's a woman. And I think that is what I find quite tricky with the ratio. Like, yes, we want to go there, and I think that was the doubt for me as well. Like, we want to see this, but also like, we do deserve it as well. We work hard for it. And that's something that I find sometimes tricky because it's so conscious and people are really trying to motivate it. It doesn't take away that these are really smart women that deserve to be in this position. And I think that is something we need to remember and open up for as well.
It's a bit naive to say, yeah, she just got it because she's a woman. Because a big company like that would never put someone in a position like that if she didn't have a choice. So yeah, maybe she was lifted by something that we all know is needed. But it's way naive just to say that. So in order to listen to those kind of arguments, it's
yeah, I totally agree.
Maybe, but also I used to work at Cushman also, but she's from external, so I think it's really a lot that Cushman is not allowed to bring their own women up, you know, because the whole layer behind Amadou is all men. So that's something that's really, I think the CV is.
I might need a microphone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you. I just wanted to end, I think you're wrapping this panel up, but I really want to give a positive note. I took a career break, quite a significant one, and was a very senior level in the banking world. And it was a bit of a spontaneous decision where we were in our family life, and decided to come back. And to be positive, a lot has happened. When I started at Amerom, I was the only woman except for the secretary in my department. And it was challenging. I had done an MBA there too. I was one of maybe 5% of the female population at the University of Texas. And it's really inspiring for me to be here and at such an event. And I participated in a similar event last week in Berlin. And it's very heartening because a lot, even though it's slow, it is slow, I get that, but there is change and change is happening. The fact that I can be now here in the position I am at the company I work for now at IPEQ, it says a lot, so.
Okay, I think that if there are more questions, it's better to save them for later after the second panel. Because of time. So thank you so much for participating, for giving your insights, and then we'll welcome the next ones. Thank you so much.